Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. As always, I'm Ari here at Korea. It's gonna be March by the end of this week, right? Yeah, by Friday, March 1st. So we're getting much closer to our favorite time of the year. A week from today, we'll be starting the ASUN Conference Tournament. Potentially Queens. We were talking before this. Potentially Queens and Jacksonville. I think is right now would be the 9-10 matchup. Obviously, that could change this week with seeding and stuff, but um, you know, getting closer to that time of the year, conference tournaments, then March Madness, obviously. We're getting further into spring training, closer. We're like 30 days away from opening. The opening game in MLB is March 20th between the Dodgers and Padres in, I think, South Korea, I believe. So we're getting close to that. Korea, how was your weekend?
It was actually pretty good. Obviously, it's great to see. Obviously, what my Cougs WSU. Obviously, unfortunately, had a tough loss on Saturday, but obviously the big one as we talked about on Thursday. They've been doing good. You mentioned, we're getting closer and closer to the start of March Madness Champ Week. Starts exactly 1 week from now with the ASUN Championship. We're kind of, it's kind of funny. We're already getting near the end of college basketball, and we were just talking about how it just started back in November, and we're already at the end of February. So just time flies, it's just crazy. And then obviously you mentioned, the beginning of the MLB season, coming up soon. We're going to be having some MLB futures. We're going to be dropping some of our favorite futures. I also will be also doing a Prize Picks entry. I did a season entry last year that would have hit if Brandon Woodruff, did pitch the whole season, but Price Picks fortunately rebooted me for that, so they technically went 5 for 5. So I'll be doing that as well, giving you some full season player props as well. But I'm definitely getting excited. We're getting toward pretty much my favorite time of the year, which is just all of March. I love March Madness. Spring training kind of wrapping up. Obviously, we just had the big news this weekend of Cody Bellinger returning to the Chicago Cubs. So, now we're kind of starting to get some free agent signings, and, especially with the Boris Ford, that was one of them. And now Blake Snell, another big free agent, still hasn't signed, plenty of others, big name, Matt Chapman as well. So, now we're kind of getting to the end of the MLB, free agency big period now. So, it's just a lot of exciting times right now, especially with some conference championships starting soon and right around the corner. But we're going to get into our picks tonight. I have two picks. Of course, you know where I'm staying. This is college basketball. This is my favorite sport ever. First, we're going to go to the ACC and the hard. We're going to go UNC minus 13.5. That's minus 125 on DraftKings. I know that line went up to 14, but I still love it at 13. You can buy it all the way down to 13. I know after I saw it and I got it. But I love it at 13.5 all the way up to 14. Look, this Miami team has been riddled with injuries, and they are a really, really good team. And, I don't like fading Miami, but they just been riddled with injuries, and now they lose Nigel Pack, one of their star players. He's out for this game, so it's just going to be tough to see Miami really go into UNC and really have anything. This UNC team is really hot right now. They got a really gritty win against Virginia on the road, and that's always a house of horrors for pretty much any team playing Virginia, especially on the road with, I don't know, maybe it's the rims or whatever, but Virginia, you just can't shoot there. And I mean, especially Virginia can't even shoot there. That's how bad it is. It's so bad. Their home team can't even shoot there. So I think this is a great bounce back spot for UNC at home. Going back home after a good win on the road, kind of cementing themselves as pretty much the top team in the ACC right now. And I think this is a great spot at home against a really injury riddled Miami team who I think I just don't see any success for them covering the spread at 13. And now that Nigel Pack has been ruled out again, I just I don't think he's played since around Valentine's Day. And this team without Nigel Pack is really different. So I love UNC at home. Give you the full spread at minus 13.5. I usually don't take it when it's this high, but this Miami team is just so different when they're injured. And UNC looks like one of the best teams right now, a dark horse for the national title, in my opinion. So I love them at home. Give me 13.5. I love it. I love UNC. So give me 13.5 minus 125 in this spot. And then I'm going to the Big 12. I'm going to Baylor TC. I'm going to the over 147. That's minus 130 on DraftKings right now. Look, I don't really like a side here. I do lean Baylor money line, but or Baylor spread, but at the same time, TCU at home is completely different in terms of how well they shoot the ball. We always talk about how TCU on the road, they have struggled, but Jameer Nelson, kind of the lead guy, Jameer Nelson Jr., excuse me, it's crazy. We have all these, kids who we watched, like, these the fathers, and now we have the kids playing college ball. It's so crazy. But Jameer Nelson Jr., kind of the star for this TCU team. He definitely shines in the big moments. We've seen it so many times throughout this year, being on the other side. But I just like him. I just like this game to go over 147 in this spot. Baylor, and we talk about how their offense can really hang on, and we saw it against Houston on Saturday. Baylor was down ginormously after that first half, but they got themselves together. And they really mounted the second half comeback to force overtime, even though losing in overtime, their offense was still kind of, maintaining them. And, TCU, I don't really believe in their defense much. I just believe more in their offense. And, I love my system, take the better offense at home, but, I really don't know who is the better offense between these two. So I'm just going to take an over here. I love it at 147. That's minus 130. I would play it all the way up to 147.5, maybe. I think right now it's at 148 around there, so I'd take it all the way up to there. But I'm definitely just loving this over here at 147. I do lean Baylor potentially on the spread, but at the same time, I do like TCU at home just because of better offense at home. But I'm just taking with the over. That's my favorite play there, minus 130, and then UNC at home minus 13.5. I think they're just going to beat the brakes off Miami, riddled Miami team that's so injured. You can't even tell that this team beat Colorado. I think kept it close to Colorado early in the season and was ranked somewhere near the top 10, and now obviously just fell out. So I'm just fading Miami, riddled injured team, and then TC over 147. Those are my two favorite plays of the day. Ari, what have you cooked up on this Monday?
Yeah, I'm not huge on the NBA board today. It's just one college basketball play, and this is mostly just fading West Virginia's offense on the road. I believe it was their last 3 games in a row. They scored 64, 65, and 58. So, if they're scoring in that range, then Kansas State has to score like in the 80s, for this to go over. This game did go over when these two teams first met. But I'm just, that was a while ago, and I think it was 148, so it went over by a decent amount. But obviously that was a while ago, and West Virginia's offense is worse. Is worse on the road. Kansas State's offense has been better at home, but it's also been a bit up and down in terms of just being inconsistent. And so I don't think they're going to have to score 80 plus to win this game. I think this could be like a 75, 60 games, something along those lines. So I'm just fading West Virginia's offense here on the road in Kansas State and taking the under 143 in that game.
I like that play. I like it as well. Personally, I am on K-State just to get the big lead in the first half. I like K-State throughout this game. I mean, I'm kind of on the same boat as you, just fading West Virginia's offense on the road. It's so bad. It's so anemic. This team is really, really bad this year, especially on the road in the spot. And then obviously K-State, one of the better teams at home, especially defensively. I like that under as well, 143. You mentioned the last time these two played in Morgantown, definitely a lot of a higher scoring game, but that's because West Virginia's obviously their offense a lot better at home, so that's obviously credit there. But you mentioned that under, so I like it at 143 as well for you. So that's always one play, just a K-State West Virginia West Virginia game going under 143. You can find all 3 of these plays on our Twitter right there, AKP Sports Talk. We will have this video and our full card posted momentarily. But that's going to do it for this episode of AKP Sports Talk. That is Ari. I'm Korea. We will see you guys soon. We will have some MLB futures cooked up. And obviously, right around the corner, our favorite time, Champ Week, A-Sun tournament. We have some mid-major starting throughout next week as well. We're going to be taking a look into that as the week finals up, as the regular season kind of for some of these mid-majors. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys soon.